Hey everyone, the Knicks are in trouble, and it's not because of tonight. It's because they gave away game two. I'll get into this. Knicks lose 109-108. The game ended about 2 minutes ago for at the time I'm recording this, so you're getting my raw reaction here. It was a tough loss, a bad loss. This is a game, though, that when you go into a playoff series or in a playoff series on the road against a good team, this happens. The other team, your opponent shoots 40% from three. You shoot 28% from three. Your opponent has guys that shot 30% from three all season, going off hitting 4 threes. Your opponent is banking in threes. You can hit a shot. One of your starters goes scoreless. Another starter scores one basket all game. And things don't go your way. You're on the road. You lose a game. That's why most series, even though there's a much more talented team usually, in this case, the Knicks theoretically are the more talented team. This is why I predicted 5 games. This is why people predict 5, 6 games, because you lose games. You have a bad shooting night. The other team is a good shooting night. You're on the road. It's the playoffs. The Hawks are a tough, physical, good team. The problem isn't that isn't tonight. There's a lot of issues with tonight I'm going to get into as much as I can, as quickly as I can, because I'm not going to do this. This is not going to be a very long reaction. But the issue is that they gave away game two. This game sucks. It would hurt, but it'd be fine if they didn't give away game two, and they're up 2-1 now. But instead, they gave away game two. That makes this game so much worse. So to get into this game, 109-108, so much bad in this game. Where to start? Mikal Bridges. This game for Mikal Bridges was a joke. This is a laughable game. If you watch the game, Knicks fans, you know what I'm talking about. On defense, awful. On offense, he looked like he was asleep. Look at the box score. 20 minutes and 32 seconds played. So Brown obviously clearly had enough. The fact that he even got 20 minutes is kind of crazy. 0 points. 3 shot attempts. 4 turnovers. That's right. 0 points. He had turned the ball over more than he attempted a shot. 0 points, 4 turnovers. His defense was awful. 0 for 3 from the floor. Mikal Bridges was an absolute disaster in this game. It's hard. I've been someone who's been very patient with him and very supportive of, kind of rejected narrative about the trade. Everybody gets very hung up on what they gave up, but it's hard to imagine a team winning a championship when you have such an important piece of your team that could just not a complete no-show. I mean, it's just an awful game by Mikal Bridges. His defense was a joke. Comes out of the 3 turnovers in the first few minutes, just a pathetic performance. I mean, there's just no defending Mikal Bridges. So I'll start with him, and then Josh Hart. Look, Josh Hart came out doing his normal things, winning the loose balls, doing out hustling the Hawks, and I was typical Josh Hart. And then he went on to have just a miserable game. He had 2 turnovers, 1 for 9 shooting, 0 for 4 from 3. He was not very good defensively. They had tried to have him on CJ McCollum. Bad. Did not work out at all. A really bad game from Josh Hart. And, Josh Hart has these games. He has them less often in the playoffs than he does in the regular season, but this was a really bad Josh Hart game. Indecisive. When he would drive, he was not finishing at the rim. It was just bad. Josh Hart was a really bad game. Cat played a good game. Cat 7 of 12, scored 21 points. Had that really great block on CJ McCollum when it looked like the Knicks were actually going to win this game. I thought the Knicks were actually going to find a way to win this game. I was going to come on here and say, out of all the negatives, let's ignore them. It's the playoffs. You just find a way to win. But they didn't find a way to win. They found a way to lose. So Cat has to be too passive. 12 shot attempts? Way too passive. He had a great 17 rebounds. Like I said, he had the 2 blocks, that block on CJ McCollum late. Cat had a good game, but we need more. We need him to take more of a prominent role. We need him to demand the ball. Not be a bystander while Jalen Brunson does. I am shocked that Brunson didn't have a big bounce back game. I was so confident that Brunson was going to, after what I called out as a bad performance in game two, was going to have a bounce back game. And it wasn't, if you look at the box score, 11 for 23, like it's not, 26 points. It's not that it's terrible, but it's not good. And OG almost single-handedly OG and Deuce rescued the Knicks, almost rescued the Knicks, sorry. OG was hit those two desperation threes. He had that on the short roll. Brunson hit OG, who then drove and then kicked it out for a three. I think that OG was great in this game. OG should have been more of a focal point down the stretch on the last possession. Like this whole, like, we have to go to the Brunson pick and roll, Brunson ISO. Like, we don't have to do that. And they went, they did go Brunson off ball, and they tried to give it back door to Brunson. Look, I think they were still trying to force it into Brunson, and that final possession was a mess. You can't not get a shot off. That's just a terrible final possession. Terrible way to lose. Brunson overall, though, not a very good game. 0 for 5 from 3. And on defense, look, everyone's going to talk about how, you got to find ways to, not concede the switch and not let Brunson, be on McCollum, or not put Brunson in these bad matchups. But, at a certain point, it's like, Brunson's got to guard someone. He was on Dyson Daniels. Dyson Daniels got the offensive rebound. Like, he has to guard someone. He has to step up. He has to hold his own. That's it. Like, we can't just make excuses for him. He has to hold his own. Yeah, you don't want to concede switches. Yeah, you want to get Brunson in the best possible matchup, but he has to hold his own. And when he was on Daniels and he allowed that really important offensive rebound late in the game, that's another example of why you don't want him on their worst offensive player, because Dyson Daniels is a really good offensive rebounder and a really aggressive attack in the glass, crashing the boards. Just a terrible loss. But again, the Knicks shot 28 from 3. The Hawks shot 40%. Jonathan Kuminga's going off in this series. He's not a good shooter. He's shot poorly all season long. He's going off from 3 in this game. CJ McCollum is having one of his hot stretches. CJ McCollum is very hot and cold. When he's on one of his hot stretches, he's really difficult to stop. When he's on one of his cold stretches, he's really difficult to even put on the court. So, because he doesn't really do much else. This is the kind of game that happens in the playoffs. You go on the road in game 3, you shoot 28% from 3, the Hawks shoot 40% from 3, you lose by 1 point. That happens. The problem is that they gave away game 2, and now their backs are against the wall. So, game 4, we'll see what happens on Saturday, but Knicks backs against the wall, down 2-1. Just a series that, forget about it. They should not be down 2-1. And now they're in a must-win situation on Saturday. So that's it, Knicks fans. That's my reaction. Just a very frustrating and disappointing loss. But everyone, thanks for tuning in. Please give us a like. Please subscribe. We'll have more Knicks reaction and long form content coming out over the next couple of weeks. So let's go Knicks. Hopefully bounce back on Saturday. Everyone, have a good night.